Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about virtual private cloud. Now, VPC, we shortly call it as, is a set of service which is going to run on every region. So if you have a region where you want to plan to run your EC2 instance, you have to firstly select the region where you want to run, and then you create a EC2 instance on that region. So this is not an optional parameter. This is a mandatory parameter. Sometimes, like right now, we won't be bothering with all this VPC configuration when we create the EC2 instance. But later point of time in this training itself, we will be bothered about it because that's some topic which we're going to cover for sure. Now, this is going to be a heads up for you. Why we are looking at it right now is because for this example, which we're going to use, we need some kind of a EC2 instance in our service, which needs to run. So that's the reason why we are looking for or understanding VPC and what is EC2 instance and how we create them. Even though we are not going to access the EC2 instance which we have created, but still we just want to look at it as an introduction. Now, over here, you have the VPC in the architecture diagram under a region. So that means that every region is going to have your VPC configured. So we just type VPC over here, you get the VPC. So it says isolated cloud resource, and that's the category it's coming under. Okay, so I'm just going to tag that over there. And then, as you can see over here, you have two VPC in the US East region. Now, if you want to see all the VPC instance across all regions, there will be one each. So there will be, of course, one particular VPC across all regions. But there are something says that not opt-in. So there are some regions which is disabled for me. As you can see over here, I'm in North Virginia. I have 17 enabled and there are some disabled for me. Around 13 regions are disabled because I'm not using it anymore. So there's no purpose by default. Amazon disables them, but we can enable them later point of time if we need it. But I'm not worried about that. I am happy with North Virginia because that's the cheapest region. And with the resources you create there is much cheaper than any other areas around this because it has a lot of availability zones. Well, so that's my secret. So yeah, that's why I create my service here. So over here I have two VPCs. So you can have more than one VPC. So one VPC is default because it enables you to quickly configure a EC2 instance without any kind of I need to do this configuration prerequisites and stuff like that. So that's the reason why every region has a VPC. So it's makes me much easier. I can switch to any region right now, and then I can just spin up a EC2 instance, just the default settings, okay, on the networking. So I don't have to do much. We will see that on the next video. That is the reason why there is one VPC everywhere, okay. Another reason is like VPC is really required for the network configuration. It could be a region to region communication, or it could be internet-based application communication over the internet. So, but you definitely need to have a VPC. Now, when you enter this, there are two VPCs over here, right? When you enter one VPC, so you will have subnets assigned to it. So you can see that these are subnets. Now, where are these subnets coming from? Now, subnets are the default configuration of a VPC. How many zones or availability zones the VPC has, that many that many subnets should be available for that VPC. Can you have there may be a multiple question. Can you have multiple subnets? Can you have multiple VPC? So those questions will be addressed at that point of time. So do not worry about that. So as you can see, subnets connects to a route table. Route table goes to a network configuration. So we're not worried about this at this moment, about the architecture and the resource map. We now know the default stuff. Now, when you create any EC2 instance, which I will do it on the next video, you will actually see the relevance between the subnet and the VPC. So you will see the EC2 run instance, which is running currently. So if you just select that, you will have this EC2 instance hosted on some VPC, right? Because you can see the availability zone. It is hosted on US East 1A. So it says 1A, which means that it is hosted on US East 1A using the subnet. So this is pretty much how it is defined. So it is hosted on 1A. So can we select it at the time of EC2 instance? Can we select a subnet? Yes, you can select a subnet when creating a EC2 instance. Now, when you go to subnet over here, so you have a lot of subnets over here. So there's a lot of subnets. Some are created by myself. Yes, you can create multiple subnets. So I have created extra subnets over here. You can see that over here. So you can see it says US. This is network border group East 1, East 1, East 1, because that's the basically the US East 1 is the name of the region. So this is the region name. But here in the availability zone, you have East 1A, East 1B, East 1C. If you just sort it by this, right? You have two East 1As and two East 1B. Now, why? Because I've created a subnet for myself. So you can see that. So this is created for the extra application. So that's something which we will talk in some time. Okay. In this section only we will talk about it. Okay. So likewise, we have created multiple subnets. So yes, to answer your question, it is possible to create multiple subnets in under one availability zone as well. And yes, it is possible to choose your EC2 instance on to be hosted on a specific subnet over here. But it's not possible to choose your backup location. Say just example, if I'm hosting on E2, the backup can be anywhere. So if this server fails from the AWS standpoint, then it can be migrated to any of the hosts. So it's something which we cannot choose. But there will be obviously backup going in, and you can also see the availability of IP address for the CIDR. So every specific subnet will have a CIDR information. So that's the base criteria for you to assign IP addresses on the servers hosted under the CIDR. Okay, so that's the range of the CIDR over there. So likewise, you have all this information towards this. On the next video, we will create an EC2 instance. I hope that you understood the basic principles of VPC. What is VCP? Sorry, what is VPC and what it does? What are the things under the VPC? So the basic overlay you understand on this one. On the next video, we will understand the basic overlay of creating EC2 instance and accessing that. Thank you again for your patience and time. I will see you on the next video.